Hello everyone, I'm the Whiskey Enthusiast. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have a recent addition to the world of whiskey, an American single malt from Jack Daniel's. I think it's a duty-free. I don't think it's in the regular market. It's 1 liter, 45% ABV. This is the bottle. I'll show you. And it's a single malt, American single malt, finished in Oloroso sherry casks. So they're trying to not copy, but trying to resemble what it would be like in the Scotch world. Because you have Oloroso finished casks, sherry finished casked whiskies. This is a sentence I am trying to form. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's American single malt. It's a new category. Well, technically, they've been doing it. America's been doing it. The Virginia distillery's been doing it. They have been doing it with the copper pot stills they got from Turkey, Ankara Whiskey, my hometown. Unfortunately, the distillery closed, but they were handmade, beautiful copper pot stills, and Virginia distillery got them. And they've been doing American single malt for a while now. I've had Balcones Texas single malt, and I've had this one. It's an emerging category, and it's finally recognized. And what are the rules? Apart, like resembling or differentiating rules from the Scotch world, is that there's no mention of a copper pot still. All of these American distilleries are used to doing in their either hybrid or continuous or column stills because that's how you make bourbon. And so these are mostly made in either hybrid or continuous stills. So that's the big difference. Minimum age requirement is none. That's the thing in American single malt. And there's no cask limitation in the sense that it's bourbons have to be in new casks. They need to be unused. Whereas American single malt can be used ex-bourbon casks, ex-Oloroso casks, ex-Scotch casks, just like they do in Scotland. So, right, okay. I don't know what happened. I'm a bit slow right now. I'll read you a bit of this. Aged in new handcrafted charred white oak barrels and finished in the finest Oloroso sherry casks. Now, 4 years aged in these new handcrafted charred white oak barrels and 2-year finishing in the Oloroso sherry. So it's a 6-year-old American single malt. Every drop made in Tennessee. Barrel finished Oloroso sherry cask sourced from Andalusia, Spain. Distilled and bottled at Jack Daniel's Distillery, Lynchburg. Made with cave spring water and American barley. And 45% ABV, we said. Barreled and aged at the distillery. This is a new take on timeless single malt traditions, charcoal mellowed, and the Tennessee way. Aged in handcrafted, newly charred oak barrels, then finished in the very finest Oloroso sherry cask. It's rich and complex, described as dark chocolate-covered nuts, berries with a subtle Oloroso sherry finish. So it is still charcoal mellowed, right, like the general regular Jack Daniel's. So what it is, basically what they do is, and it's cork. Right, so charcoal mellowing or maple charcoal mellowing is, they get maple wood, they douse it with Jack Daniel's new make, they burn it to ash, it becomes like a coal kind of thing, and they drop the new make through that to get rid of any rough parts, and then they bottle that. So it takes that charred maple note in it as well. And to compare, if I'm gonna see any Jack Daniel's DNA, I got the single barrel select, also 45% ABV. This is the single barrel select Tennessee whiskey. Is the signature offering in our single barrel collection with subtle notes of caramel, spice, bright fruit notes, and sweet aromatics. It's Rick No L31, barrel No 21 also, and bottling dates. Yeah, you have all of these. This is also cork. Now, Jack Daniel's has a bad rep I don't know why. I like Jack Daniels. It was my first love into whiskey, in the world of whiskey, not Scotch. I used to love drinking Jack Daniels. Before I even knew what tasting was, I used to do blind tasting of Jack Daniels Old 07, Gentleman and Single Barrel with my friend. And if you have watched Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino, you would call him Mr. John Daniels, because if you know him as long as he does, we call him Mr. John Daniels. Neither here nor there, but I do like Jack Daniels. That's what I'm trying to say. So I was intrigued to purchase this. Let's go. On the nose. Now, this is very confusing because it does not smell like a Scotch whiskey and it does not smell like a bourbon. It is sweet, caramelly, vanilla. There's a dusty note you get from corn whiskey, but there's no corn in it. This is 100% malted barley. Honestly, I got this blind nose by my friends, and people called it bourbon. Some people called it, what was it, brandy. It's dusty, it's peppery, and it's very sweet. But I don't get any of that Oloroso note. It is a hint of bourbon note in there. It's incredibly unique. It's a bit sour. You get woody notes. A little bit smoky. Raisins, sultanas, sour plum, sour cherry, chili jam, loads of black pepper, but like off jam or really really thin, nearly gone wine or red wine vinegar. It's a bit vinegary. Right, on the palate. Again, it is really confusing. You know, you have all these tasting notes in your mind, you have these reference points, but you can't really put it together. It's incredibly sweet. It's like bourbon sweet, but without the spiciness of the bourbon. It's really sour. Sour is the dominating taste here. But the maple syrup kind of note is there. Vanilla sugars is there. Milk chocolate. Fruit and nuts chocolate. But it's really sour. It's like drinking a cheap red wine with fruit and nut chocolate. It's that kind of a feel. And finish is mediumish with that maple note. But it doesn't drink like a malt whiskey. How can it? It's not distilled in copper pot stills. It's in continuous stills. Oh, and it's limited to, well, basically the regulation for the American single malt is you can't distill it above 80% ABV, whereas in Scotch it's 95% ABV. Not that they do it, especially not in malt, not in malt, but in American malt, 80% ABV is the higher note, and I think the reason they do it is so people just don't distill neutral grain spirit and call it American single malt. Now, to give me a little bit of a context, I'm trying to see if I can get any character of Jack Daniels, because this is a good example of Jack Daniels. This is their classic mash bill of, what was it, 75% corn? So let's see. Oh, wow, okay. Right, so this is maraschino cherries, dark berries, vanilla, pepper, caramel. Similar notes presented in a completely different way. That that maple note is the common factor here. This is dusty as well, but nowhere near dusty. I've had corn whiskey, 100% corn whiskey, where I had the dust. And I thought, that's why this confused me. But I don't get it here. So does that dust come from continuous stills, the maple charwood? But I don't have it here. It is really confusing. Let me try this on the palate. There is very little similarities. So okay, that's good. They're coming from the same distillery, but basically, I mean, obviously, I am tasting a bourbon, even though Jack Daniels would like to tell themselves that they're Tennessee whiskey, they're not bourbon, and in a way they're correct because they do the charcoal mellowing. But apart from that, it is how a bourbon is made, and a single malt whiskey. Yes, they're different, but they are coming from the same stills. They are going through the same burnt maple wood. There are similarities, but that's about it. So if you try this against another bourbon at 45% ABV, you're not going to see that many similarities. But what really plays with my head is that dusty corn note. Honestly, if you drank mellow corn or any other corn-heavy whiskey, you get that dusty note. And it's here. It's just so confusing. I don't know what to think of it. I don't not like it. Will I buy it again? I don't think so. No, it was an experiment for me. We tried it with my friends. We all got baffled. Like no one said, yes, this is single malt because I can taste this and this and this. So please, I ask of you, my friends, please let me know in the comments. Have you tried this one? What are your thoughts? Granted, I don't have so much bourbon experience, but this is not bourbon, is it? I have single malt experience, and I can't reach out to my notes. I can't reach out to my reference points. It's fun. It is really fun. In that sense, I highly recommend it if you want to have fun. But it is confusing and a bit frustrating. Is it great? Not really, but it's a good step towards the future. Balcones Single Malt did the same thing to me as well. I was trying to find a single malt situation there. Maybe I should try the Virginia Distilling distillery because they do it in copper pot stills. Oh my god, that metallic dusty little bit. I mean, it's very sweet. It's very fruity, very jammy. But compared to the bourbon, it's more sour than sweet. It's a sweet and sour, jammy chocolate note. It's not amazing. So, taste-wise, I'm going to recommend this 2 Glencairns. Just try it. I'm just going to generally recommend this 2 Glencairns because it's a good experiment. If you want to broaden your horizons, if you want to get confused, if you want to see what an American single malt, especially from Jack Daniels, is, go ahead and try it. But it's not cheap. Oh, yeah, it is 1 liter, but I think it's around 85 pounds. So yeah, that's the decision you have to make. This was a weird one, guys. Thank you for sticking around, and please let me know what you think of this. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It does mean a lot to me. And sorry if this was a bit long-winded and a bit all over the place. Honestly, I tried, like, look, I drank this, right? I had my time with it. But every time I go back to it, I can't find anything that I can give you as a solid note. And you don't necessarily get much information online anyway. So let me know what you think. I am relying on you guys, and I shall see you on the next one. Cheers.